Hi guys, welcome to my first video in a series of build videos, mainly scratch built for my Necromunda table. Gotta say, loving Necromunda. I love the fact that you don't have to build armies and armies and you just have a few gangs. Anyway, enough waffling. What I'm doing here is a Hive City shanty town. I have to give full kudos to, let me just get my bike back, Eric's Hobby Workshop on YouTube. Go and check him out. He's built a Hive City shanty town. I was so inspired. I thought I've got to have a go at this. The only difference is this time around I'm largely scratch building all of it. My actual table is going to be roughly, I don't know, maybe 3 foot by 3 foot. I'm not sure due to limited space. However, I'm literally going to be going vertical. Which I'm just super stoked about this build at the moment. I've used all sorts of pieces in here. I mean, this main primary tube is a toilet waste pipe, a new one, not a second-hand one. I wanted the vision of a really thick, chunky main pipe going up, and of course a load of buildings splattered all around the edges and built on it. Which, believe it or not, if I just show you from, sorry, shaky cam from the top, it was actually a bit of a nightmare to do because I've got weird angles. Cutting around curves can be an absolute nightmare to do. Anyway, let me get back down again, guys. Just to give you an idea of scale, I've tried to keep that in mind very much so when I've been building this, because this has got to be a playable piece. This is probably the first section. I've terminated it on the top here, as you can see, because I'm going to have roughly twice as much again. That's currently about 10 inches tall, just over 10 inches tall. Anyway, I've used lots of foam card, cereal box card, some very thin chipboard, which is really good for strengthening the foam card because it does tend to warp, especially when you use a hot glue gun on it. This is far from finished. I thought I'd show you the in processes, because when it's all painted up and it's detailed to death everywhere with wires and ladders and gantries, this is going to look somewhat different. Believe me, it really will. But I'm really pleased with the way it's shaping up at the moment. I mean, trying to make railings, to be quite honest, as a scratch built stuff is really quite difficult. But I did find some mesh in the garden. I wasn't particularly keen with the scale and the spacing, but I've managed to sort of like thin it down a bit, and it looks a bit better with this trim around the side. Let me just turn it round. That one hasn't got any railings on yet. I'm working on that. Yeah, back to this side here. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with how that looks. I mean, when that's painted, it's going to look amazing. All these white areas and spaces you see won't be there in future videos. I find it difficult to move this when I've got the camera in my hand. Also, I've made sure that I've got under areas. I mean, underside of here there's going to be a spotlight coming down, so that's going to light up all that area. The windows that I've got all over the place, especially this particular building, is going to have lights in it, so you'll see that nice flickering glowy effect, you know, in subdued lighting. It'll look absolutely amazing. But it's coming on, and I've probably put about, I don't know, 30 hours in this so far, because it's so time consuming cutting and making sure everything's square and right. And I mean making my own sort of like girders out of balsa wood. This like grid like effect, that's plasterer's mesh that they use when they're plastering. But to be quite honest, you won't see any of this. Even the card here, it's just paper, it's just corrugated packing paper. Cheap as chips. The only thing that's not cheap as chips, unfortunately, which I prefer not to build, are things like ladders and stairs. Eric on his channel's used, I think it's Plastruct. I think he's used Plastruct products, and they're really good, but they're a bit pricey. But they look amazing and they're the right scale. So, needless to say, I've ordered some, but they haven't come yet. When they do, I'll be able to start putting my stairways in, and then once they're in, then I can actually start constructing the rest of the habitats. But bearing in mind, it's going to look grungy, it's got to look cobbled together, because that's the whole point. But overall, I think it'll look pretty good. So subscribe guys if you want to see more in this line of video. More will definitely be coming, and it's nice to speak to you all again. See you soon.